Good morning. This is Mayor Valensky with Driving Markets. I hope you're well. Okay, so yesterday, the big factor that has pushed prices all over the place amongst financial markets has been the price of oil. And yesterday, it dropped 6%. What caused the price of oil to drop 6% to just over $101 a barrel on sweet light crude and $106 a barrel on Brent crude? Well, President Biden, for the first time in history, not him for the first time in history, the first time in history is awake, but the first time in history in the US, the Strategic Petroleum Reserves, the SPR, was instructed to release 1 million barrels a day to ease the price at the pump. Now, we've got to look at where the price of petrol is in the States. In the States, an average price per gallon, not per litre. In Europe and UK, it's a litre. In the US, it's a gallon, is running at $4.67, the highest of all time. And in California and Nevada, it's running well above $5 a gallon. That is causing extreme and uncomfortable feeling from the US public, which is putting pressure on the soft liberal Democrats in order to do something. So Joe Biden, he woke up yesterday during the day and decided to release announce that he's going to release 1 million barrels a day of SPR, the Strategic Petroleum Reserves. In addition to that, there's going to be an OPEC meeting to discuss production. That in itself also sent oil down in the hope that an increased production, there's not much capacity, but an increased production to reduce the level reduce the price of oil. However, both those steps are short-term steps. As far as Biden's concerned, the oil market said, yeah, that's fine. They dropped the price, but that's going to produce a short-term effect. It's not going to solve the problem of the long-term effect of the geopolitical sanctions and the war in Russia and Ukraine. Remember, Russia and Ukraine themselves produce huge amounts of energy, huge amounts of gas, huge amounts of oil. In addition to that, Putin stated, and I mentioned this already earlier in this week, that Putin stated that anyone who is an enemy or seem to be aggressive towards Russia, he will cut off their gas supply. In addition to that, anyone who does buy gas now needs to pay, is forcing them to pay in rubles. That is a great strategic move from Putin. Let's put aside the fact that there's thousands of people being displaced, or hundreds being killed on a daily or weekly basis. Talking just financially and economically here, what he's done, he's forced the Europeans and any customer, any client, any purchaser of Russian energy to pay it in rubles. That will effectively break the sanctions, so it will support the ruble, strengthen the ruble, and give him control over the Europeans and any other country that's taken Russian oil and gas. A very important point. Furthermore, let's look at some other factors. The personal consumption expenditure in the States, the PCE, came out yesterday, was expected to come in at 5.5%, came at 5.4%, slightly lower than expected, which is a good move. However, the cost of labor is going up and wages are increasing. So that's going to add more to the inflationary inferno that's actually taking place now around the world. So we have a big impact on inflation. As I said earlier, and I say it again, expect inflation in the UK to reach around about 8% at the next announcement. That's what I think. And by July, it'll be double figures or minimum double figures in the UK. And in the US, there'll be probably also double figures by July. So inflation is on the rise. There's no solving the problem of the oil and the energy crisis that's going on at the moment, and there's no end in sight to the Russian-Ukrainian war. US Treasury yields, remember I said to you earlier this week that it became inverted, where the 2-year was higher than the 10-year, which was a signal for a bear market. Well, yesterday they moved out of that signal, and the 2-year became lower than the 10-year. So therefore, that was a removal of that particular bear signal. What else have you got? You've got cryptos yesterday that came off significantly. The Bitcoin's running at about 44,500 overnight. Markets yesterday came down around about 1.7%. The Dow dropped 550 points. The Nasdaq dropped 200 points, and the S&P dropped around about 60 points, 70 points. So just take aware of that the end of the quarter was yesterday. The markets came down. Where do we go from here? So clients are asking, Mayor, just tell me, is it going to go up or is it going to go down? Well, at the moment, the market's had a good significant rise. The likelihood is that it's probably reached the top and likely to come down over the next couple of weeks. So if you're going to ask me what is driving markets bet, I would say go short and over the next couple of weeks and stay short, because there's probably going to be a further downward spiral over the next couple of weeks. I don't think we're going to reach all-time highs. Remember, the market is trading a range, very, very tight range. At the moment, we're at the top of that range. So the likelihood is that's going to come down. Overall, there is a trend downwards, as I said. However, there are periods of time within the financial markets that they're bouncing up. So my opinion is go short, and it's likely to fall off further because we've reached the top of the range. Where does that leave things like Bitcoin? So plenty of people ask me, what about Bitcoin? Well, Bitcoin generally is just a gamble, generally speaking, but longer term, not shorter term, it's probably going to reach above 68,000 and test the highs again. So those crypto traders may want to look to go long at the 40,000, 38,000 level, whereby I can accumulate some Bitcoin and have it rising all the way up to 68,000. Or you can put in a standing order to keep on buying Bitcoin or whatever money that you have on a regular basis, whether it's weekly or whether it's monthly. That's more or less it on driving markets today. If you need to contact me on LinkedIn. You can find me on Instagram. You can subscribe. You can like the videos. As I said all along, let's get these videos out. So the summary is go short. Looks like we're at the top of the cycle. Keep an eye on oil, because oil may go down a little bit further based on the back of the Biden SPR release, the release of 1 million barrels a day. And keep an eye on driving markets. Mayor Walensky, have a good day.